I am back. I'm back better than ever. How are you doing today, everyone? You can tell by the smile on my big fat face. why I am, in fact, smiling, because everything is fixed. And I mean, everything, the live streaming, no buffering, no nothing, is all repaired. And I like to thank Warren for helping me through this. And I was questioning whether I was ever going to stream again or not, but it looks like I will be streaming. So here I am, back better than ever. Let's see. Say my hellos to everyone here real fast. We got Miguel in the house. How are you doing? We have Peace Dub. How are you doing? I finally found your Rocket Red countdown liftoff. Oh, absolutely. That's the brilliant work of Jimmy with the graphics and Kenny with the music. So let's see here. Maybe I should add another countdown, maybe 5 or 6. I don't know. Anyhow, trying to scroll. Oh, I want to make sure I don't miss anyone. So okay, I see Max, sorry, Jay here. Greeting Desert Mantis, how are you doing today? Let's see. We have Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. How are you? So we got a pretty much kind of a full house, and I'm sure some others will probably pop in before too long. So anyway, as I said, I'm back, and let me get to the meat and potatoes. No offense to the vegetarians here, of what we need to discuss. So and that's basically the Lincoln Project. The Lincoln Project, as you know, is an organization that was they're pretty much old school veteran Republicans that were never Trumpers at the beginning of the Trump movement in 2015, 2016. And they found their way into the Democratic Party. And the thing about the Lincoln Project, and I considered the Lincoln Project, in my view, is the Heritage Foundation for Democrats that used to be Republicans. They're basically Republicans who do not hate gay people and are pro-choice on abortion, and decided that the Republican Party was too far right, but they still kind of like the Bush Cheney way of governing. So, and of course, if you're a Bush Cheney style neocon who's not a social regressive evangelical authoritarian, you're going to look at the Democratic Party and be like, well, maybe that's my home. And so, and a lot of Democrats are gleeful about Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney and all these folks, John McCain's son, Jimmy McCain, all of them, all getting behind the Kamala Harris, campaign. And so all this talk you hear from Republicans about how far to the left the Democrats are. Are you really that far left, Democrats, if you're going to go and embrace George W. Bush and Dick Cheney and all that was wrong with them? I mean, 1 million people died in Iraq. Again, I want to make it clear. I'm going to do a video on why I do not support Donald Trump. For those that think I give him a little bit too much of a free pass, I've been thinking about doing that video. But what I want to do is to tell you, that just because Dick Cheney and George W. Bush and all these other motherfuckers who are either with the Lincoln Project or orbit around the Lincoln Project or what have you, just because they're embracing the Democrats does not mean that they're our friends. And I have to go tell a lot of my normie progressive friends, people I think a lot of, that have views similar to us. What's the deal? Why are you going to sit there and embrace these people? All they're going to do is shift the Democratic Party further to the right. All this talk about how far left the Democratic Party has become. if you're having Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney and all these motherfuckers on board, that's not the Democratic Party going too far to the left. Yeah, the Republican Party went further to the right. That's true. But the Democrats comes along and they're just, yeah. Are the Democrats to the left of the Republicans? Yes. Are they less shitty than the Republicans? I will argue, yes. Do I want to support the Democrats? Absolutely not, because they're not. I'm sorry, they're just not far left enough for me. And I mean, I might not be far left in the many left wing circles, but I am, by American political standards, further to the left than the average American. Not that I want it to be where I'm in the middle here in America. I will be in the middle. I don't want it to be that I'm some kind of weird crank or what have you that refuses to take a turn to the center. I would like to think that no matter how far left you are the center, in the sense that what you advocate for is reasonable. And what I mean by that is, if you think that everybody ought to have medical care given to them, that's reasonable. That's moderate. What's not moderate is the free market approach to healthcare. That if you can't pay for it, you die. That's not moderate. That's fucking evil. If you think that spending, trillions on weapons production and all this debt that we have all these years is from these pointless neocon wars. If you think that that's okay, but you're not okay with giving health care to your citizens, when we actually, with some of the neocon foreign policies, do fund healthcare systems like we did in Afghanistan, we fund it in Iraq, we fund it in the Ukraine currently, and with the foreign aid we give to Israel. The only thing that we give money to Israel for that's actually okay is their universal healthcare system. Everybody ought to have universal healthcare, no matter how shitty a government may be. Everybody ought to have healthcare. But what I'm trying to say is they think that's okay, but not giving healthcare to American citizens, or the idea of giving healthcare to American citizens as a fundamental right is somehow a fringe and extreme idea. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. I just want to make it clear that's crazy talk. So, I'm called pro-Russia and a Trump enabler because I vote third party for president. This is nothing new for me. I have voted third party since 1996. 1992 was the last time I voted for a major party candidate for president, and I regretted that vote for Bill Clinton. I hate George Herbert Walker Bush too. It doesn't mean that I'm giving him any leeway. I would have argued that a vote for Perot, not my first choice in 1992, in retrospect, would have been a better vote than for Clinton or Bush. But actually, I would have voted, if I had had it my way in 1992. If I could turn back the clock in time, I would have supported J. Quinn Brisbane, who was the Socialist Party candidate for president at that time. A good man. I knew the late Quentin Brisbane, and I should have actually brought a photo up here, and I'm going to do that real quick, and then we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of what we're going to talk about. So, a little bit on Quinn Brisbane, and I'm being a little all over the place, so I apologize about that. It's what I do, It's what I do. Some people have made fun of him because, that's a small photo there. Oh, good Lord. Let's see if we can do that. That ought to be a little bit better. It's a little blurry, but suffice to say, here's Quinn Brisbane. When I find it. Okay, here we go. All right, and image enlarged there. Oh, come on now. Okay. Well, anyway, you see Quinn Brisbane there. You see Quinn Brisbane. He was the Socialist Party candidate for president in 1992. You can tell he looks like Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken, and he was always kind of made fun of in that regard. So so anyway, enough about Jake Quinn Brisbane. Interesting person, and may have to do a video at some point. So there's that. Okay, so let me go ahead and get to what we're talking about, the Lincoln Project. That's what we need to talk about. Therefore, Kamala Harris, and they would have been for Joe Biden. And so, Bernie Sanders and Dick Cheney are featured in this cartoon that they promoted by the what you call it, the group, the Lincoln Project. So here's the video, and prepared to laugh. So it's called The Odd Couple. Okay, let's play it.
Dick, we never got along.
Correct.
You were a warmonger.
And you were a commie.
Surprising to be on the same side as you.
Surprising to me, too.
I'm still on the left.
I'm still on the right.
But if we can agree on Trump,
it means something big.
Bigger than policy.
Bigger than ideology.
We are both voting for Kamala Harris.
Because this election is a choice between America
or Trump.
There you have it. That's sad, isn't it? Bernie and Cheney linking arms. You would have ever thought about that being possible 20 years ago? You would have thought that had been possible 10 years ago. And honestly, I mean, I know that Dick Cheney and Bernie Sanders doesn't exactly have any love for each other even now, except for their the Trump derangement syndrome against Trump. Now, Bernie's reason to be against Trump is more valid than Dick Cheney's reasons, but Dick Cheney has said on occasion during the Trump years that his problem is his so-called non-interventionism. Now, Trump was a warmonger too. He was accidentally less aggressive on foreign policy, accidentally, and had a lot to do with COVID. Had a lot to do with the resistant liberals and the never Trumpers and the Trump people trying to bring each other down. There was a lot of chaos during those years. Glenn Greenwald have said that. And so, but the thing about it is, I do not want to link arms with Dick Cheney just to own Trump. You can be opposed to Kamala Harris. You can be opposed to Dick Cheney. And you can be opposed to Donald Trump, which is my position. And that is a valid position. People act like, oh, well, that can't be. Well, no, you can be. Just because people say that position is impossible does not mean that position is in fact impossible. You can be opposed to a whole group of toxic people who may not like each other. I do not go by the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's not how I work, and that's not how we should all work. I mean, that is ridiculous. I mean, I would have respected Dick and Liz Cheney more if they would have went with a third party candidate that matches their ideals than to go with the Democrats, because that would have been more consistent on their part. But here's the thing: liberals ought to not be taking any comfort in this, because if you're a true liberal, I don't mean you're a shit lib, but if you're a true liberal, progressive that wants to get things done in a way that's more substantive than Hillary Clinton being a progressive that gets things done. That's a bullshit thing to say. You would not want to link arms with Dick Cheney of all people. Somebody who was the toast of Rush Limbaugh 20 years ago can't be our friends today, especially if their politics haven't changed. Now, if Dick Cheney all of a sudden became Noam Chomsky overnight, if his politics was that of Noam Chomsky, I'm just using him as an example. So if he basically turned from the Dick Cheney that we all despise, and his ideology is the same as Noam Chomsky at this point, okay, or at least if he apologized for the Iraq War and apologized for his egregious positions over the years. One area where I will give Dick Cheney credit, I will give him credit on one thing, and one thing I will give him credit for, and that's this makes him a better person than his bitch for daughter, Liz Cheney. He did change on LGBTQ. He used to be opposed to LGBTQ rights and equality in marriage, and he's in favor of it today, and has a lot to do with one of his daughters, his other daughter, Mary Cheney, being a lesbian. And I know it came close to home with him. I don't care why his position improved. I care that the fact that he no longer looks at LGBTQ people as icky. I will give him credit on that, and that alone. Other than that, Dick Cheney is a piece of shit, and he's an asshole, and I hate him in all other respects. So anyway, my point is, Democrats, what you're doing, what you're going to end up doing, you're going to end up having the Democrats having the listening ear of Dick and Liz Cheney. And we're talking about Donald Trump, who claims that Israel will disappear in 2 years or so if Kamala Harris is elected. No, she is just as bad on Israel as Donald Trump. The only difference there is between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris in terms of Israel is that she might quietly, softly tell Benjamin Netanyahu, please don't be so mean to the Palestinians. But that doesn't mean that you're a Hamas lover. I mean, that, she's still going to go and prop Israel up with weapons and military and financial aid. Just because she would do it at 55 miles an hour versus Donald Trump doing it at 300 miles an hour, her position on Israel is as unacceptable as the position of Donald Trump's on Israel. So I'm just giving that as an example right there. The only thing that Trump is correct on foreign policy, he's correct on the Russian-Ukraine situation. He claims that he can end the war in 24 hours or what have you. That's a little fantastic to believe, but I do believe that that's probably the one area where Trump might be better on foreign policy than others in that regard. Not because I think he's a Russian asset or anything like that. I just think that I do think that he would be better on that specific issue. But on everything else, he's going to be horrible. He's going to be another predictable neocon on foreign policy. So there's not much to hope for between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump in terms of foreign policy. You're going to see no fundamental changes for the most part. But I want to have it said that this love affair with people that many of us thought were the scum of the earth 20 years ago, that we were pounding the streets protesting against, and they're going to be our friends now because of the Orange Man. That's asinine. That's fucking retarded as hell. I mean, that is ass backwards logic if I've ever seen it. And that's what goes on. I will play that Dick Cheney, that Liz Cheney video from Turncoat Dawn, but y'all seen it a couple of times. You get it, where she's now Wonder Woman in the eyes of the liberals because of her hatred of Trump. So, that's what's happened right there. I mean, we have normalized Ronald Reagan. We have normalized George Herbert Walker Bush and George W. Bush. We've normalized these people. And I have said that if somebody's awful as Marjorie Taylor Greene or Ron DeSantis somehow gets them their way into the White House, it won't be too long if Donald Trump remains alive before Donald Trump gets normalized. Look at the immigration vote that Donald Trump urged Republicans to vote against. It was a hardline immigration thing that they forced the Democrats to support. And Donald Trump basically told the congressional Republicans to vote against it because it'll hurt them politically if from their angle, if that problem was solved. So, and it's not a problem from my perspective. It's very easy how to handle immigration. United States foreign policy needs to stop fucking and interfering with the effects in the affairs of people in other countries and making life shittier in other countries. That's what it comes down to. Interfering in elections in Latin America or bombing the shit out of countries in the Middle East. During the migrant crisis back in 2017, everybody was like, "Oh no, these people from Syria going to come here to the United States." Well, you can't bomb the shit out of them nonstop, and then all of a sudden you're not going to allow them into the country. The best way, I don't want to use the term keeping them out, but if you really did want to keep people out that you don't want here, stop making life so miserable for people in other countries. But that is the Dick Cheney way, and that's what I'm worried about with regard to Kamala Harris being delighted that Dick Cheney will be supporting Kamala Harris for president. I wouldn't brag about that, Kamala. I wouldn't brag about it, Kamala. I wouldn't. So, and that's what it comes down to. So, I'm just, as I said, I'm just beside myself when it comes to how we have rehabilitated a lot of these bad actors. And you know what's funny about that? The Democrats, they love Dick Cheney. They love Liz Cheney. They love George W. Bush now. And here's the caveat. Whatever we may think of Bernie Sanders today, they love George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, and Liz Cheney a hell of a lot more than they love Bernie Sanders or Ralph Nader or Susan Sarandon or just fill in the blank. Anybody who they consider a malcontent on the left and somehow in some ways end up calling them right wing. Because they're outside the bubble as far as the way things are in Washington. And so the Democratic Party has been so Reaganized for so long that now Democrats in the United States are now basically George Herbert Walker Bush, the first one. George Herbert Walker Bush Republicans from 1989 until 1993, that time period. Except that they're a little more with slightly woke characteristics. And when I say woke, I am not sitting there putting down people who believe in intolerance and all of that. I'm not. I'm sort of using the language of the right to throw it right back at them because the right at the end of the day is the problem. I mean, in fact, I go as far as say that George Herbert Walker Bush was worse than Ronald Reagan, in spite of appearing more moderate. There is a video by Ben Norton that talks about how toxic the Bush family were, and so and when I get a chance, I may actually put that link down to show you why I feel the way I do about the Bushes and the Cheneys, and am opposed to normalizing them right now. So why I can't stand Keith Olbermann, who I loved and adored 20 years ago, telling the truth about the right wing, and he went and apologized to George W. Bush for the way he was mean to him. That's dumb, and fuck Keith Olbermann. Seriously, he can fuck off. That's where I stand. So anyway, let's see who we have here on the chat line. Okay. We have here Bella Lugosi. They roasted Dick Cheney from the vat. They roasted Dick Cheney from the vat and blood. From the vat. From the vat of blood and body parts of the resides in the Langley sub basement. Yeah. Um, Bernie wants to go hunting for his stunned birds. Yeah, when that video I was watching, I was like, yeah, he would be the Felix, and the other guy, Dick Cheney, would be the Oscar. The pro-war establishment supports zero delegates. Sanders included. Dump the duopoly, says Ed Heller. And I think that we need to dump the duopoly more than ever. More than ever. And I've been on this third party thing for a long time. Jill Stein paid $100,000 for consulting firm led by Trump supporter with January 6th a connection. Jill Stein paid $100,000 for consulting for two consulting firm led by Trump supporters. Well, there's always all kinds of accusations on all sides. There people have said that Democrats fund right-wing Republicans, hard right-wing Republicans in the primary, so it'll be easier to defeat theoretically. We're fucked either way. I couldn't have said it better myself, Warren. That's how I feel every 4 years. So I nominate Willie Bragg, the dirtbag leftist, for Secretary of State. I appreciate that. I actually was. What was I? I actually served in a shadow cabinet once when we nominated David McReynolds from the Socialist Party USA. We had a shadow cabinet for him, and I forgot what position I was nominated for in this theoretical administration that never came into being. Let's see here. All right. Okay, I'm looking through here. Earl, hey, how are you doing today? January 6th is a bunch of nonsense. I tell you what bothered me about January 6th the most. What bothered me the most about January 6th was that we were talking about force to vote. I knew that we weren't going to do force to vote, but it was being talked about, which meant that the conversation of Medicare for all was being talked about. And I do believe that maybe some of the Democrats are glad that January 6th happened because they can focus on these awful people that, they were awful. I do think I have a nuanced view of January 6th. In some ways, I think that they're too harsh on their insurrectionists. On some other ways, I think the insurrectionists are assholes. So, it was just I should do a video on that subject. Now, I don't believe that they're mistreated to the level that Marjorie Taylor Greene says they're mistreated, but I do think that maybe some of these sentences might have been excessive for people who were just there that day and got caught up in the emotions of that protest. And still, I will slap them with a misdemeanor fine, of course, but I don't know if I would make them felons and all of that. I think that maybe some people were harshly but go after the people on the top, and I do think that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and some of the other members of Congress that were connected, I think that they should not be in Congress because of what happened. They should have been expelled from Congress. But anyway, let's see. This is my problem with the uncommitted movement. If they're truly uncommitted, they would abandon the Dems completely. Yeah. And those who oppose force of vote are they're being very light on the people who are uncommitted. sucking up to them and saying, come and join us or what have you. But if you advocate force of vote, there's like, you're the scum of the earth or something. And I'm sorry I talk about force of vote, but we miss a real opportunity to do something about healthcare. And even if it would have failed, we would have made Nancy Pelosi's life miserable. So it would have been cool either way. The old lady who cut my hair, it was at January 6th. Wow. Yeah, January 6th. I laughed when January 6th took place, to tell you the truth. I did. So let's see what we have here. I am going to make this video relatively short because I have to skedaddle to work, and I may do a quick editing here. So tomorrow we should have Braglands at 5 p.m. So I just wanted to call to let you know that we should have Braglands at 5 p.m. if all goes well. Especially when I review this video and there's no hiccuping. It looks like it's no hiccuping. It looks like it's perfect at this point. So and Shane will be on my show on Thursday. We were going to do it today, but I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to live stream or not. I was still a little nervous about live streaming today, but it looks like all is well. So, and I've got some live streams I need to make up for last week for not being with y'all. So there's that. So you should see some surprise live streams every now and then between now. But we should have a live stream on Monday. Today, on Tuesday, Braglands at 5, and we should have a Wednesday live stream at 8, and a Thursday and a Friday live stream at 8. And we'll be live streaming all week. So doing a little bit of makeup time. So there is that. And it's never too late. PHX Cisco, it's never too late. So anyway, I will say this right now. I'm back better than ever, and this, looks like and I'm actually paying less for my internet as a result. That's also the icing on the cake as a result of this. So there is that. If you all like what you heard, please press like and comment. Comment any ways you disagree with what I have to say. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. And for the love of God, please let everyone know about this channel. Trying to get up to 1,000 before the end of the year. And I think it could be done, but we need to let people know quickly about this channel, because, the algorithms are not working in favor right now on independent content makers, especially if you're a left-wing progressive. So that's what you got to do. So spread the word about the Willie Bragg Show, and subscribe to if you haven't subscribed today, if you're listening, please do so. Subscribe to the Willie Bragg Show on YouTube and Twitch, and follow me on Twitter. Follow me, and just Facebook. I'm on there all the time, so probably a little bit too much. So anyway, I hope every one of y'all have a great day. And again, you'll be seeing me. Looks like you'll be seeing me plenty this week. And remember to free and pardon Ed Snowden, fully pardon Julian Assange, free Palestine, free healthcare for all, and let free speech absolutism reign. Absolutely. So y'all take care. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.